It's so bright that it removes all the darkness. Tameva vidvati mrityum iti. Whoever knows vidvati mrityum iti nanyaha pantaha vidyat ayanaya. So whoever knows me transcends the bond of birth and death. Nanyaha pantaha vidyate ayanaya. There is no way for there is no other way for liberation other than the knowledge of the Supreme. Yasmat param na param asti kinchet. Yasmad, therefore, yasmat means therefore, yasmat param, there is no superior truth than me. Yasman naniyo no yayo asti kinchit. Because he is the supermost and also he is smaller than the smallest. Naniyo, that is smaller than the smallest. And then he is the greater than the greatest. Jayo asti kinchit. Vriksha iva stabdho divitishtati ekas. So he is situated as a silent tree. And what he is doing? He is illumining the transcendental sky. Divi means illumining. Tishtati ekas. He is the one stabdo, chupchap. How is Lord situated in our body? Like the vriksha which is quiet. The vrikshas don't speak, no? Trees where they speak. In the same way, Krishna is also silently sitting and watching us. If somebody is drinking cigarette, chup chap see. Somebody is doing ding dong bell, okay, chup chap you see. He is not speaking anything. Sthabta, like the vriksha. And divitishtati ekas. But he is the one who is illumining the transcendental sky. Tenedam purnam purushena sarva. Like how the tree spreads its root, he spreads his extensive energies. He knows how to spread that energy. He is a person, tenedam purnam, he is a purna, purushena sarvam. In this way, he is the only purusha. He is the one who is the real enjoyer. And in this way, he is the transcendental truth. There is no truth beyond that. So Shvetashvatara Upanishad we have discussed. So you don't have to read from there. You just read the 7th verse, 7.7. You read and stop in the Brahma Samhita quoted above. Okay?
Hare Krishna. Matap parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. Mai sarvam idam proktam sutre mani ghana iva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Purport: there is a common controversy over whether the supreme absolute truth is a personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse, in particular, it is stressed that the absolute truth is a person, that the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth, is also the affirmation of Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. That is, the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Shweta Chetashvatara Upanishad 3.10. Tatho yad uttarattaram tad arupam anamayam ya etad vidur amritaste bhavanti atetare dukkham evapiyanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity, within the universe is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence who has no material form and is free from all material contamination. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who do not know him suffer from the miseries of the material world. The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam, but this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge as described in Brahma Samhita quoted above. Hare Krishna.
रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दखे पौरुषं नृषु प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दके पौरुषं नृषु वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड्स रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दके पौरुषं नृषु. So among the rasas, among the water, in the water, I am that taste. I am the taste of water. Rasaha. Apsu refers to not only water, any liquid. Somebody asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, when I drink liquor, can I remember Krishna? Prabhupada said, yes, yes, you should. That is transcendental. Okay, then when I chant, can I remember liquor? No, no, that is not good. When you remember Krishna while drinking liquor, that is pure devotional service, Prabhupada told you. At least you are remembering Krishna. While remembering Krishna, you are remembering liquor. That is degrading, Prabhupada. Rasaha aham apsu kaunteya. Prabha asmi shashi surya. Asmi means I am. I am that Prabha, the light. You know, my childhood name was Prabha. If you go and tell to my mother, Narayani, she said, keep your mouth shut. She is my Prabha, she'll say. Prabha means the light. I am that light of Shashi and Surya. Shashi means moon, Surya, sun. Pranavaha Om Sarva. Pranavaha Om. Sarva Vedeshu. In the Vedas, I am that Pranava. Om. A, U, and A, U, So, what is it? A, U, A refers to internal, U refers to marginal, and refers to external potency of Lord. So that is how Om is the designation of Lord, that He is the controller of internal, external, and marginal energy. And then Shabdaha Khe, I'm the ether. I'm sorry, I'm the sound, Shabda, in the ether. And then Paurusham Nurushu, in the men, I am the ability. Like somebody is having a lot of ability. Immediately you should remember Krishna. Oh, in the men he is the ability. Immediately you should not become envious. That means we are envious of whom? We are envious of Krishna. Seeing somebody's ability, we should appreciate. Oh, this is Krishna. Then one will not have enviousness. The moment we think, oh, he is able, I am unable, gone. Comparison, competition. And so what happens? One becomes very, uh, very envious. So criticizing nature comes. Okay. So Gauranga, will you read?
रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययो प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दके पौरुषं नृषु. Translation. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. Purport. This verse explains how the Lord is all-pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in this way he is realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achintya Bheda and Abheda Tattva, simultaneous oneness and difference. The light of the sun and moon is also originally emanating from the Brahma Jyotir, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord, and Pranava, or the Omkara transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord. Because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names, they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara. But they do not realize that Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are an illusion, so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. Thank you.
I thought my mobile is on. Speaking. Okay. Next. पुण्यो गन्धा पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु पुण्यगन्ध पृथिव्यां च. So when the first rains come, you see there is a fragrance which comes, isn't it? Krishna says, I am that fragrance in the earth. So immediately we should remember Krishna actually. When we drink water, the taste, you see, to quench the thirst, you cannot have any other liquid except water. Isn't it? You cannot say, oh, give me. Once it so happened, Srila Prabhupada was very thirsty. And they brought many juices, orange juice, this juice, that juice. Prabhupada said, I'm thirsty. I want water. At that time he taught this verse, Raso hamapsu kaunte. So Krishna is a taste in that water. What quenches our thirst is Krishna is quenching our thirst. So when we drink water, we should always remember Krishna. So here, when the rains come and the fragrance come, we should immediately remember Krishna. Tejas chasmi vibhavaso. Krishna says vibhavaso means the fire. When we stand near the fire, especially in the winters, we like to stand near the fire. Then you get the heat. Immediately we should remember Krishna and the heat in that fire. Jivanam sarvabhuteshu. When a person, right, and sees a life in the living entities, prana, he is that mukhya prana. He is that prana. Why we are alive? Not because just the soul is there in the body. Prana is there in the body. Krishna is there in the body. That is why we are alive. Tapas chasmi tapasvishu. Somebody is doing nice tapasya. Immediately Menaka comes. Isn't it? Indra sounds, go. But here Krishna says, I am that tapasya. In the tapasvi, I am that tapaha. So somebody is doing tapasya, immediately you should appreciate, yes, he is that penance. He is that penance in those who practice penance. So how if we are Krishna conscious, that means we should be conscious of all these things. That is Krishna consciousness. Not that I enter ISKCON temple, then only I become a Krishna conscious. No. Krishna conscious means we have to be conscious of each and every aspect. And that is how Krishna is making us conscious. That is why this is Jnana Vijnana Yoga, putting the knowledge in practice. When Krishna says, I am present everywhere, that means I should see Krishna in everything. When we say Krishna is, there is no truth beyond him, that means in everything he is there. And if a person understands that he is Thavar Jangama Dekhe, Na Dekhe, Taramurti, Sarvatra Hoye Nija Ishtadeva Spurti. If I am seeing something Thavar, that means something which is immovable, and Jangama, which is movable, I don't see it as that figure. I am seeing Lord in that. Na dekhe taramurti. I am not seeing it as it is. I am seeing sarvatra hoye nija ishtadeva spurti. Spurti means what? Krishna's energy is there in everything. That is how Krishna is giving us a practice. But see me in everything. Okay, Sonal Devi.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. Text number 9. पुण्योगन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in the fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all the ascetics. Purport. Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance, as the flavor and fragrance in a flower or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor, which permeates everything, is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So, everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibhavasu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc., and that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to a low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals, and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So, Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. Thank you.
So Krishna consciousness can, therefore, by the grace of Krishna, one can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. So it is up to him how to prolong his life or how to diminish his life. So it is only by Krishna's mercy everything happens. Bijam ma sarva bhutanam viddhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatamasmi tejas tejasvinamaham. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. I am that seed. I am that seed, Krishna says. Now, mango came from where? It's a tree. Tree came from where? From the seed. That seed came from where? If you go, there is an original seed. So in this way, Viddhi Partha Sanatanam. So in this way, I am that original tree, original seed. Buddhi Matamasmi. So I am that intelligence of the intelligent. So somebody is very intelligent. Should not be envious. You should see, oh, that intelligence is Krishna. Aham tejaha tejasvina. In the tejasvina, there are people who are very powerful. Krishna says, I am that power. So in this way, there is a verse put from Katha Upanishad. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam. I am that person who is always eternal. I am the eternal among all the eternals. Chetanas chetananam. I am that person who is maintaining everything. Chetanas chetananam. I am that person who is chetanaha. That means I am conscious of all the consciousness. Eko bahunam yo vidathati kaman. In this way, eko bahunam. I am the root of everything. If a person understands this, then he knows me. Or if he is not intelligent, he can never understand Krishna. Sudha, can you read? Vidya, you read?
Hare Krishna. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir
Vidhi,
buddhi
vidhi, vidhi nahi, vidhi.
Viddhi Partha Sanatanam Buddhir Buddhimatam Tejas Tejasvinam Aham. O son of Partha, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. Purport: Bijam means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move, but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 84 lakh species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in Vedic literature, a Brahman or the supreme absolute truth is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Parabrahma, the supreme spirit. Brahman is impersonal and Parabrahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect that is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root, and as the root of a tree maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in Vedic literature Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities, and He alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence, and Krishna also says that He is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. Hare Krishna.
When we see somebody who has a lot of strength, and that strength is Krishna, Krishna says, Balam balavatam chaham, kamaraga vivarjitam, dharma viruddho bhuteshu, kamosmi bharatarshava. I am that strength among the strong. Kama raga vivarjitam. And what is that strength? Which type of strength? Which is devoid of passion and desire. Now, somebody sees the strength of Aurangzeb or maybe Hitler. Hitler was also strong, isn't it? That is why he put bomb. But will you say that strength is Krishna? No. So not that all the strength is Krishna. That should be devoid of passion and desire. And then dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. I am that sex life. Now when the child is begot, naturally there is a sex life. But that should not be contrary to religious principles. So now see how Krishna, that means Whatever we are doing, it is only for Krishna. If that knowledge is there, then Krishna says, you see me in that. Ye chaiva satvika bhava tamasascha ye tamasascha ye matta eve titan vidhi natvaham teshu te mayi. Ye cha eva satvika bhava rajas tamas, everything emanates from me, Krishna says. And then mattah eveti tan sarva. So in one sense, everything but I am independent. That means everything is dependent on me. Only I am independent. Matta eveti tan vidhi. Only I am independent, everything is dependent on me. Natvaham teshu tema. In this way, I am not under the modes of material nature. In fact, they are within me. Natvaham, I am not in them. Temai, they are in me. I am not in them, they are in me. Natva aham, I am not in them. Teshu, I am not in them. Te means, I am not in them. But in fact, they are in me. So I am not, so matta eva etihi tan vidhi. In this way, mattaha. From me, everything exists. All these three modes exist from me. I reside in them. I don't reside in them, but they reside in me. Or I am not carried away by them. In fact, I control them. Okay. Okay. So now read both the verses.
Hare
I'll
Krishna
do this also.
Mataji.
I'll do this also because it's connected. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर् एभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् एभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्. त्रिगुणः भावै. So the three gunas, the whole world is deluded actually. Mohitam. The whole world is deluded by these three gunas. And the world does not know me. Nabhijanati. They don't know me. But they are deluded by these three gunas. That is why the people, they don't know me. And how they don't know me? That I am that Param. I am the Abhyayam. And why they are not able to know me? Because they are deluded. And I am above the three gunas. That is why it's very difficult to know me, Krishna says. Not so easy to know me. All the three verses from Balam Balavatam. So
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Text number 11. Balam balvatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am the sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. Purport. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principles, which is dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious. Text number 12. ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि नत्वहं तेषु ते मयि. Translation. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. Purport. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, Under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna. But Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text number 13. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर् एभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति माम् एभ्यः परमव्ययम्. Translations and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Purport. The whole world is enchanted by the three modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called Brahmanas. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called Kshatriyas. Those who are in the modes of both passion and ignorance are called Vaishyas. Those who are completely in ignorance are called Shudras. And those who are less than that are animals or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. I may be either a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or whatever. In any case, this life is temporary. But although life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, by the spell of this illusory energy, we consider ourselves in terms of this bodily conception of life, and we thus think that we are American, Indian, Russian, or Brahmana, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is behind all these modes. So, Lord Krishna says that living entities deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature. And all of them have forgotten the transcendent personality of Godhead. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord in his personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature. And those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
दैवीहेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायायतां तरन्ति ते. When there was a big Uttarakhand destruction, you remember? There's a big tsunami type, not tsunami, you'd say. What it was? Uttarakhand something they said, na?
Cloudburst.
Flood, flash floods.
That time cloud burst. That time I remember my Shiksha Guru, His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj asked me, can you remember any verse from Bhagavad Gita relating to this? I said, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Itam Tarantite. I said, oh, wonderful. I was so happy when I told this verse. Yes, Krishna's Daivi Shakti, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi. It consists of three modes of material nature, Daivi Shakti. It is transcendental. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi. Mama Maya Duratya Krishna says there is my Maya. It's not so easy to cross it. Mameva ye prapadyante. But whoever takes my shelter can easily cross it. It's not so easy to cross the material ocean, because that material ocean is also Krishna's energy. Mayam tu prakritim vidyan, Mayiram tu maheshwaram. Maya is false or temporary. It's not false, but it is temporary. Maya is not false, it's temporary. This material world is not false. Yes, Maya, illusion is false. But material world is not false. It is temporary. So, but Maya is the supreme magician. It is the supreme magician. The background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of God, who is Maheshwara. So Lord is controlling Maya. That is why he says, only when you take my shelter, Mameva ye prapadyante. Prapadyante means take my shelter, then you can cross Maya. Mama Maya duratya, very difficult to cross. Krishna very clearly says, very difficult to cross. But if a person takes shelter of Krishna, very easy to cross. Okay? Okay, read, go on.
Ihesha gunamayi omaya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Translation. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of his energies, and are therefore divine, due to contact with the material energy, their original superior power is covered. Thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. Entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord. Domination by the inferior matter, their illusion is also eternal. Conditioned soul is therefore called Nityabadha, or eternally conditioned. It's out the history of his being conditioned at a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the Supreme Will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm this as follows. Mayam tu prakritim vidyan mayanam tu maheshwaram. Maya, illusion is false or temporary. The background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Another meaning of guna is rope. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna, or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity, who was originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. The words Mameva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajogana passion and Tamogana ignorance to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas confirm this in the phrase Tam eva viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnureva na samshayaha. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. There are 4 types of people who do not believe in God or do not come to Him. Krishna clearly says 4 types of people will not come to Krishna, and we want everybody to come to Krishna. That is our desire. The 4 types of people will not come to Krishna. Krishna very clearly says. Namam dushkritano mudha prapadyante naradhama maya prastagyana asunam bhavamashita. Namam dushkritano mudha. Mudha refers to donkeys. So those who work like donkeys, Krishna says, they will never come to me. They don't have time, no? You ask them, please come to Krishna. Please chant. Oh, I don't have time. I work a lot. So that is why mudhas. Mudhas means those, the dushkruti. Dushkruti means they don't have kruti. They don't have even a small fortune. Simple. They don't have that fortune. They are known as dushkruti. They are mudhas. They are gadhas. Donkeys. Prapadyante naradhama. Na prapadyante. This na is common. Na prapadyante naradhama. They will not take my shelter. Who? Naradhama. In Nara Adhama. Among the human, he is the most degraded person. Who is a degraded person? Being born in a nice family, but still not interested in Krishna consciousness. What is the use of being born in a big families? Nice, learned family, nice Brahmana, Kshatriyas, but no, not interested. And then the third type of person is Maya Prahutta Jnana. Aprahutta Jnana. What is it? Aprahutta? Aprahutta means stolen. Because the knowledge is stolen by Maya. Maya Aprahutta Jnana. His knowledge is stolen by Maya. So what happens when he sees everything, he thinks everything is Maya. Everything is product of Maya. I mean, Krishna is also product of Maya. Such people also cannot come to Krishna. Asuram bhavam ashita. Calling oneself only as God. Tell, Om Hiranyakashipu Namaha. Who was that? Asura. Who considers himself as God. Asuram bhavam ashita. So one who considers himself as God, one who thinks everything is product of Maya, one who is the most degraded among the Nara, and then one who is a donkey. 4 people, or very hard work, you can say. So 4 people cannot get Krishna or cannot surrender to Krishna. Get the read?
Hare Krishna. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradama mayaya paharta jnana asuram bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the aesthetic nature of demon, do not surrender unto me. Purport. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself onto the lotus feet of Supreme Personality Krishna, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises: how is it that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the all powerful personality of Godhead? Mukti or liberation from the law of material nature is sought by the leaders of mankind, in different ways and with great plans and perseverance from a great many years and births. But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering onto the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hardworking leaders adopt this simple method? The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of the society, like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Janaka, Prahlada, Bali, and later on Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person, the all powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan of or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God, they simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of the material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy, nature, is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the aesthetes and baffle the knowledge of planning commissions. The atheists, plan makers, are described herein by the word dushkritina or miscreants. Kriti means one who has performed the meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist's brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plans of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called Dushkriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. In Gita, it is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under the direction of Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority. It works as the shadow moves, in accordance with the movement of the object. But still, material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord. Under illusion and modes of passion and ignorance, all his plans are baffled, as in the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, whose plans were smashed to dust, although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administrators, and educators. These Duskritinas or miscreants are of the four different patterns as outlined below. The Mudhas are those who are grossly foolish like hard-working beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits their labor by themselves and so do not want to part with them for the supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is the ass. This humble beast is made to work very hard by his master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under the fear of being beaten up by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. The ass sings poetry and philosophers sometimes, but the ass sings poetry and philosophy sometimes, but this braying sound only disturbs others. This is the position of the foolish fruitive workers who does not know for whom he should work. He does not know that karma, action, is meant for yajna, sacrifice. Most often, those who work very hard day and night to clear the burden of self created duties say that they have no time to hear of the immorality of living beings. To such mudas, material gains which are destructible are lives all in all, despite the fact that the mudas enjoy only a very small fraction of the fruit of labor. Sometimes they spend sleepless days and nights for fruitive gain, and although they may have ulcer or indigestion, they are satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of the illusory masters. Ignorant of the real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time serving Mammon. Unfortunately, they never surrender to the supreme master of all masters, nor do they take time to hear of him from a proper source. The swine who eats the night soil do not carry to accept sweet meats made of sugar and ghee. Similarly, the foolish worker, while untiringly continue to hear of the sense enjoyable tidings of the flickering mundane world, but will have very little time to hear about the eternal living force that moves the material world. 2. The class of Dushkriti or miscreants is called Naradhama or the lowest of mankind. Nara means human being and Adhama means the lowest. Out of 84 lakh different species of living beings, there are 4 lakh human species. Out of these, there are numerous lower forms of human life that are mostly uncivilized. The civilized human beings are those who have regulative principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially and politically developed but who have no religious principles must be considered Naradhamas. Nor is religion without God religion, because the purpose of following religious principles is to know the supreme truth and man's relationship with Him. In the Gita, the personality of Godhead clearly states that there is no authority above him and that he is the supreme truth. The civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost connection of his eternal relation with the supreme truth, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who is all powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as an Aradhama. We get information from revealed scriptures that when the baby is in the mother's womb, an extremely uncomfortable situation, he prays to God for deliverance and promises to worship Him alone as soon as he gets out. To pray to the God when he is in difficulty is a natural instinct in every living being because he is eternally related with God. But after his deliverance, the child forgets the difficulties of birth and forgets his deliverer also, being influenced by Maya, the illusory energy. It is the duty of the guardians of children to revive the divine consciousness dormant in them. The 10 processes of reformatory ceremonies, as enjoined in the Manusmriti, which is the guide to the religious principles, are meant for reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnashram. However, no process is strictly followed now in any part of the world, and therefore 99.9% of the population is Naradhava. When the whole population becomes Naradhama, naturally all their so called education is made null and void by the all powerful energy of physical nature. According to the standard of Gita, a learned man is he who sees on equal terms the learned Brahmana, the dog, the cow, the elephant, and the dog eater. That is the vision of a true devotee. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the incarnation of Godhead as Divine Master, delivered the typical Naradhamas, the brother Jagai and Madhai, and showed how the mercy of a real devotee is bestowed upon the lowest of the mankind. So, Naradhama, who is condemned by the personality of Godhead, can again revive his spiritual consciousness only by the mercy of a devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in propagating the Bhagavata Dharma or the activities of devotee, has recommended that people submissively hear the message of the personality of Godhead. The essence of this message is Bhagavad Gita, the lowest among human beings can be delivered by this submissive hearing process only. But unfortunately, they even refuse to give an oral reception to these messages And what to speak of surrendering to the will of Supreme Lord? Naradhamas, or the lowest human of mankind, willfully neglect the prime duty of the human being. Third, the next class of Dushkritis is called Mayayarpaharta Janana, or those persons whose
Maya Prasad
Maya
Maya Prasad
Mayaya or those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusionary material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literati, scientists, etc. But the illusory energy misguides them, and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord. There are a great number of Maya Aparta Jnana at the present moment, even amongst the scholars of Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is none equal to or greater than him. He is mentioned as the father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Sri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman, and Paramatma, the super soul in every entity, is his plenary portion. He is the fountainhead of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender onto his lotus feet. Despite all these clear statements, the Maya Aparta Jnana deride the personality of the Supreme Lord and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal transcendental feature of Supreme Lord. All the unauthorized interactions of the Gita by the class of Maya Aparta Jnana outside the purview of the Parampara system are so many stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual understanding. The deluded interpreters do not surrender onto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, nor do they teach others to follow this principle. Fourth, the last class of Dushkriti is called Asuram Bhavam Ashrita, or those of demonic principles. This class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. There are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal features, although the opposite is declared in Gita. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. Such persons, whose very principle of life is to decry the personality of Godhead, cannot surrender onto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Sri Yamunacharya Alabandharu of South India said, O my Lord, Alabandharu of South India said, O my Lord, you are unknowable to persons involved in atheistic principle. Despite your uncommon qualities, features, and the activities, despite your personalities being confounded by all the revealed scriptures in the quality of goodness, and despite your being acknowledged by the famous authorities renowned for their depth of knowledge in transcendental science and situated in the godly qualities, therefore, 1. Grossly foolish person, 2. The lowest of mankind, 3. The deluded speculators, and 4. The professed atheists. As mentioned above, never surrender onto the lotus feet of personality of Godhead, in spite of all scriptural and authoritative advice. Hare Krishna.
So four types of people have been described very nicely. This will do from Wednesday. Okay. The four type of people don't come to Krishna. And four type of people come to Krishna. Who are those people who come to Krishna? Okay. Any doubts? Panchakatha